Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to share with you my client Michelle's journey. She is living proof that it's never too late to live your dreams. She left a 10-year career in healthcare, a really decent, lovely salary to pursue her dream of fashion. And she's literally right now in fashion school with 18-year-olds. So it's never too late. And I'm so grateful for Michelle, you're sharing your journey with us. So why don't you just share, a little bit of where you were before we started working together?
Sure. As you mentioned, I was working in healthcare for 10 years. I came straight out of college and got my first job just to get, a job. I think it was actually a temp job. And I just simply followed the carrot. I kept on getting promoted. And 10 years later, I was in a good role and with a nice paycheck and great benefits and a good retirement and everything that I was told I should be looking for on paper I had, but I was really unhappy. I felt really, really lost, and I was at this kind of pivotal point where I was ready to make a change, and I thought maybe just a new company or a slightly different role. I wasn't exactly sure what needed to happen, but I knew something needed to change. I was really, really in a bad mood.
Yeah. I remember because I take quotes. I mean, I take quotes. I take notes when I do my work with clients. And literally a note that I have here in front of me is that you said, this work is like killing me, is killing me slowly. So it was not a pretty picture when we started to work together. And so why don't you tell us about what you discovered in our work together and where you are now?
Sure. So, in our session, like I said, I knew I needed a change, but I had no idea what that change would look like. And I didn't even really see a creative career on the horizon. My mind just couldn't even go there. I was maybe thinking, like you said, about maybe a different company or a slightly different, job that might have a little bit more creativity, but I wasn't exactly sure what that would look like. But in our time together, you helped me you asked some really hard questions that I would never ask myself, and made me realize, and kind of resurface this career aspiration that I had from when I was, growing up, all the way, in high school, getting into fashion design, and that I had always just kind of put away as my, yeah, right, that could never happen, have to be practical, have to get a paycheck, an artistic career just did not seem fathomable. I'm not in a family of people that take big risks, and that just seemed like way out of, left field. But, through having some conversations, some pretty deep conversations, we uncovered that was something that I'd always wanted to do. And then we kind of went through many months of talking about it, and I had still not let go of the finding a new job within my industry. I was still actually interviewing for jobs, but over time, this new career path came visible for me, something that I only thought was a dream in the past. And then I realized that there really wasn't anything stopping me but myself, and my own fears. And then, after we kind of discovered it and I sat with it for a while, we had more of those practical conversations about, okay, how can we make this work? What does this look like? How are your finances? And then once we started having those very tangible conversations, there was really no reason not to do it.
Yeah.
And it was still really, really scary, but I did it. And it's amazing. And I love it. And I'm so happy that I did it.
Yeah, tell us more, like, because, you were just burnt out and you kind of dreaded waking up in the morning. And what would you say your life is like now?
Now, I definitely work harder than I ever have in my life, which is a lot because I used to work, you know, 60, 70 hours a week, and commute. So, I'm used to working hard. I work harder now, but I'm excited every day. I'm learning something new every day. I'm getting excited about the next project I'm going to be doing and what possibilities lie ahead. Uh, it's 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 a different mindset that I wake up with in the morning. It's awesome. Yeah.
Ah, I love it. I'm so, so thrilled for you. And, I think there's a few things that are important in your story that probably resonate with a lot of people. One is that you kind of got onto this practical career, but you didn't really choose it. You just thought it was like a practical, good choice. And I think that probably resonates with a lot of people. They weren't really necessarily intentional with their track. And now they're kind of like, wait, I think I could choose something, and I kind of want to be more intentional. And so I think that really resonates. And then also just the thing, it wasn't even, when we worked together, we really had to go deep to kind of extract this passion because you were resisting it. Like you were afraid to even say it out loud. And so I think that also probably resonates with a lot of people. So why don't maybe you could share, in terms of the work that we did, what did you find to be most useful, about like the actual process of what we did?
Like I said earlier, I think you really made me look in the mirror and ask some hard questions that I would never challenge myself with,
Yeah.
and pull out things about myself and my true, dreams and aspirations that I would never have considered before as being real career aspirations. It was something that I had always just thought that was kind of my dream job, but there's no way that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think, there were times where I kept on going on interviews for other, healthcare related jobs. And while we were having these conversations, and you would pull me back week after week to say, okay, what about this? Let's talk about the fashion design industry. What is it? And you kind of would retarget me when my bad habits of being practical, I wouldn't say bad habits, but my habit of being practical kept on leading me back to those interviews and working the endless hours. Having someone that kind of reoriented me and brought me back on that path once a week was the only way that I could really start having a vision of what that new career path would look like, until it was a tangible enough career path to where I was really able to consider it and then follow that path and start saying goodbye to my previous career, which was really, really difficult. And I'm still letting go slowly. I'm actually working for my previous employer part-time, making my own hours, and selecting my own projects, which is really nice to be able to do while I'm in school. And they've been really supportive of this whole thing. I think I've actually inspired some of my coworkers
Yeah.
who pull me aside and want to have conversations about what they wish they had done
Yeah.
in their careers.
And what's your
Yeah.
advice or kind of feedback to them?
They always come to me like, this is what I wanted to do, but it's too late for me. It's too late. And one thing I tell them is, the first day of class, I showed up like 15 minutes early. And as this my fellow students came in, they all started sitting facing towards me because they thought I was the teacher.
Oh my God.
So, like, yes, it's starting later, but you know what? I'm so much hungrier than the other students. I know what I want. I know how to get it, which is something that they don't necessarily have. But, so I do feel older, but I also just feel like I'm getting so much more out of it, and I'm going to be able to excel, especially, having the background that I did, learning,
Yeah.
business skills and just being able to conduct yourself professionally. I mean, that's invaluable experience that I'll take with me into my next career.
Yeah,
But I
absolutely.
think it's just, they need to know that, it's never too late. And that, the time they've dedicated to whatever previous career they've done, that can go towards your next career, even though it's not a maybe direct translation of those
Yeah.
skills.
Yes. Thank you. That is, I think, something that a lot of people need reminding of. And, I think also when it comes to figuring out what to do, maybe it's not a career, maybe it's not a career shift, but just kind of getting out of this feeling of being stuck or maybe in a rut with work, maybe not feeling as fulfilled. A lot of people think, well, I'll just figure it out on my own. Maybe I'll read or I'll talk to some folks. But do you, this is, I guess, kind of a leading question, but um, would you have gotten here alone?
Oh, absolutely not. If I had been able to get here alone, I would have gotten here faster or, earlier. It took me, 10 years of knowing I wasn't really in the right career, but not doing anything about it. And, once I started talking with you and having you asking me those tough questions, and kind of resetting my values or acknowledging my values, that's really what got me moving.
Yeah.
I probably made more of a change in my life in 3-4 months than I had in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, that is so inspiring, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. And I'm just like thrilled for you and appreciate your sharing it with others because I'm sure it's inspiring. So thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Stella. You
I'm
were, the end of last year, I sent you that email because I was like, I was looking back on my year, and I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't met you and worked with you. So I am so grateful, and I'm excited to keep in touch. And I hope that this story does inspire other people, because there's no reason to waste any more time.
thank you. Thank you.